This is Rickie Lee Jones, American singer, musician, and songwriter. Now, if you're looking for one of the most unique and eclectic singer-songwriters of the last half century, a two-time Grammy winner, and somebody that's been voted in the top 100 greatest women in rock and roll history, you came to the right place. This video will examine the life and music of Rickie Lee Jones. Welcome back to my channel. Rickie Lee Jones, born November 8, 1954, is an American singer, musician, and songwriter. Over the course of a career that spans 5 decades and 15 studio albums, she's recorded in various musical styles including rock, R&B, pop, soul, and jazz. A two-time Grammy Award winner, Jones was listed at number 30 on VH1's 100 Greatest Women in Rock and Roll History in 1999. AllMusic stated, "Few singer-songwriters are as individual and eclectic as Rickie Lee Jones, a vocalist with an expressive and smoky instrument, and a composer who can weave jazz, folk, and R&B into songs with a distinct pop sensibility." Jones was born the third of 4 children to Richard and Betty Jones on the north side of Chicago, Illinois. She was named after her father, who was a singer, songwriter, painter, and trumpet player. Her mother, Betty, was raised in orphanages around Mansfield, Ohio. She has a brother, Daniel, and 2 sisters, Janet and Pamela. Her paternal grandfather, Frank Pegleg Jones, and her grandmother, Myrtle Lee, were vaudevillians based in Chicago. A singer, dancer, and comedian, Pegleg Jones' routine consisted of singing and accompanying himself on ukulele, soft shoe dance, acrobatics, and comedy. Jones lived in Phoenix, Arizona from the age of 4 to 14. At the age of 21, Jones began singing traditional jazz and original composition in bars and coffee houses in Venice, California. There she met Alfred Johnson, a piano player and songwriter with whom she wrote Weasel and the White Boy Cool and Company, which would later appear on Jones's debut album. In 1977, Jones met Tom Waits at the Troubadour. They dated for about 2 years before splitting in 1979. Rickie Lee Jones was released in March 1979 and became a critical and commercial hit, buoyed by the success of the jazz-flavored single Chucky's in Love, which hit number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and featured an accompanying music video. The album, which included guest appearances by Dr. John, Randy Newman, and Michael McDonald, reached number 3 on the Billboard 200, went platinum, and produced another top 40 hit with Young Blood, number 40, in late 1979. Her appearance as an unknown 1 month after her debut record had been released on Saturday Night Live on April 7, 1979, sparked an overnight sensation. She performed Chucky's in Love in Coolsville. Jones was covered by Time magazine on her very first professional show in Boston, and they dubbed her the Duchess of Coolsville. Touring after the album release, she played Carnegie Hall on July 22, 1979. Members of her group included native New York guitarist Buzz Feighton, who was featured on the album and would appear in her recorded works over the next decade. Following her first ever performances in the spring-summer of 1979, Jones appeared on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. Photographed by Annie Leibovitz, the cover image showed Jones posing in a crouched stance, wearing a black bra and a white beret. Jones secured 4 nominations at the 22nd Annual Grammy Awards for Song of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Performance Female for Chucky's in Love. Also, Best Rock Vocal Performance Female for The Last Chance Texaco, and Best New Artist, which she won. The album also earned a nomination for Best Engineered Recording, Non-Classical, credited to Tom Knox. In 1980, Francis Ford Coppola asked Jones to collaborate with Waits on his upcoming film, One from the Heart, but she balked, citing her recent breakup in late 1979. Coppola argued that the duet would be perfect for the film since the 2 main characters in the film are separated, and he asked her to reconsider. Waits ultimately sang with country pop star Crystal Gayle. In 1981, Jones released her second album, Pirates, which received high marks from critics and was a commercial success. The album reached number 5 on the Billboard 200 and soon achieved gold certification. Rolling Stone remained a fervent supporter of Jones with the second cover feature in 1981. The magazine also included a glowing 5-star review of Pirates. The single, A Lucky Guy, became the only Billboard Top 100 hit from the album, peaking at number 64, but Pirates and Woody and Dutch on the Slow Train to Peking became minor top 40 hits on the Billboard mainstream rock charts. Jones left New York for San Francisco, where she befriended Robin Williams. In Los Angeles, she recorded the EP Girl at Her Volcano, producing the record herself and drawing the cover art. It was released as a 10-inch record in 1983, featuring a mix of live and studio cover versions of jazz and pop standards, as well as one Jones original, Hey Bud, which was originally written for Pirates. Jones then relocated to Paris. In 1983, Jones lived in Paris for 4 months, writing new material for her third full-length solo album, The Magazine, released in September 1984. The magazine was produced by Jones and James Newton Howard and included a 3-song suite subtitled Warshacks, which featured multi-track vocals and minimalistic synth patterns. The lead single, The Real End, reached number 82 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1984. Jones took a 4-year break from her recording schedule, largely attributed to the death of her mentor Bob Rieger as well as her father Richard Jones that same year. During this period, she replaced Shirley Jones for the role of the fairy godmother in Filmation 1987's film Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night, including a performance of the original song Love is a Light Inside Your Heart. After a successful tour in Norway and Sweden, and then opening for Ray Charles in Israel with Michael Lang managing her, she returned to the United States, signed to Geffen Records by Gary Kirsch, who teamed her with Steely Dan's Walter Becker for her long-awaited 4th album. In September 1988, the two of them began work on Flying Cowboys. The album was released in September 1989 and produced 2 hits, Satellites, which hit number 1 on the new adult radio format, and The Horses, co-written with Becker. The latter song was covered by Kenny Loggins and also featured in the movie Jerry Maguire in 1996. The Horses also became an Australian number 1 hit single for Daryl Brathwaite when he covered it in 1991. Flying Cowboys made the US Top 40, reaching number 39 on the Billboard 200, with the college radio hit Satellites making it number 23 on the Billboard Modern Rock Track charts. The album was certified gold in 1997. Her 1988 collaboration with Rob Westerman, Autumn Leaves, on his album Duets, earned Jones a Grammy Award nomination for Best Jazz Vocal Performance Female in 1989. Her duet with Dr. John, a cover of Makin' Whoopee, won her second Grammy Award in 1990, this time in the category of Best Jazz Vocal Collaboration. Following a tour with Lyle Lovett, Jones enlisted David Waz to produce her first album of jazz covers. Her producer chose an innovative approach and she agreed, thus the Argentinian-flavored pop set the pace for what would become a habit with Jones, mixing styles of jazz and pop and not staying in one genre for a whole recording. Tin Pan Alley to Jimi Hendrix, the album released in September 1991, was a hit on the Billboard Contemporary Jazz Albums, peaking at number 8 but became her least commercially successful record yet, reaching number 121 on the Billboard 200. Soon after, The Orb issued Little Fluffy Clouds, featuring a sampled Jones interview. However, Jones's record company objected to the unauthorized use of her voice and pursued the issue in the court system. Her swan song for Geffen Records was Traffic from Paradise, released in September 1993. The album was slightly more successful than its predecessor, reaching number 111 on the Billboard 200, and was notable for its collaboration with Leo Kutkel, its musical diversity, and a cover of David Bowie's Rebel Rebel, which was originally planned to be the title track for the Oscar-winning film Boys Don't Cry. Before his death, Bowie was quoted as saying that this version was his favorite cover of his work. Throughout this period, her songs were featured in a number of films and television series, including House MD, 30-something, Frankie and Johnny, When a Man Loves a Woman, Jerry Maguire, Friends with Money, and the French film Subway. Jones sang a duet with Lyle Lovett on North Dakota for his 1992 album Joshua Judges Ruth, and has also sung on albums with John Cougar Mellencamp and Arlo Guthrie. Jones's first solo shows in 1994 paved the way for her acoustic album, Naked Songs, released in September 1995 through a one-off deal with Reprise Records. The album, which reached number 121 on the Billboard 200, featured acoustic reworkings of Jones's classics and album material, but no new songs. Emphasizing her experimentation and change, Jones embraced electronic music for Ghosty Head, released on Reprise Records in June 1997. The album, a collaboration with Rick Boston, found Jones employing beats, loops, and electronic rhythms, and also showcased Jones' connection with the trip-hop movement of the mid to late 1990s. Despite critical acclaim, it did not meet with commercial success, peaking at number 159 on the Billboard 200. Jones's second album of cover versions, It's Like This, was released on the independent record label Artemis Records in September 2000. The album included cover versions of material by artists including the Beatles, Steely Dan, Marvin Gaye, and the Gershwin Brothers. It made it onto 3 Billboard charts, number 148 on the Billboard 200, number 10 on Top Internet Albums, and number 42 on Top Independent Albums. The album also secured Jones another Grammy Award nomination for Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album. Her cover art design won numerous awards and is in the book Best Album Covers. In November 2001, Artemis reissued a release of archival material titled Live at the Red Rocks with cover art by a young fan who had recently died in a swimming accident. Her parents brought her drawing of flying horses to one of Jones's shows in Oregon, and Jones used it for this live release. I hope you enjoyed this video on one of my favorite female singer-songwriters of all time, Rickie Lee Jones. Now, if you've got a band or musician you'd like featured on this YouTube channel, pop it in the comments section. I'll make another video. Thanks for dropping by. Rock on.